Hello guys, welcome to today's video. So today we'll be discussing the chapter 6, which is a topic known as customer retention. Customer retention is one of the profitable ideas. Hello guys, welcome to today's video. So today's topic of discussion is the customer retention. In a business, it is very essential that you retain your existing customers, because existing customers, the longer the time they stay with you or the longer the time they purchase your products or services, the better it is for the business, and it will ensure the long-term profitability for the business. So when we talk about the customer relation management, in this, customer retention also holds a very important area. So in a customer life cycle, if you see from business perspective, there are basically three core stages of a customer life cycle, starting with the customer acquisition, followed by customer retention and the customer development. So customer retention is the second stage. First stage is the acquisition of the customer. Once you acquire the customer, then it becomes essential, and the next follow-up step is to retain the existing customer. Why the customer retention is the key is because customer retention is the maintenance of continuous relationship with customers over the long term. So trading relationship is where your customers will purchase the products and they will eventually lead to profits to your organization or your business. So this is the key, customer retention. Next, from an economic perspective, as we have just said that customer retention will actually help you to from profits perspective, because as the customer tenure grows with your organization or with your products, then the customer will do more purchases from your business. So that is why from economic perspective this is very essential. And if you see from the expenditure point of view, from the organization side, lower customer management costs over time. So what happens is, once you have, let's say you have developed a database of all the existing customers, then initial cost for maintaining the database will be huge. But then once the database is established, then over the course of time, you will see that the cost that is involved in maintaining the database or maintaining the customer will actually lower over the course of time. So this way also the company's expenditure will reduce once the customer retention is there. And the third important point is the customer who are retained, who are associated with you, they will also help you to get other customers, because they'll be doing the customer reference by word of mouth publicity or by creating a buzz in the market. So it is important that the existing customers are generating a new customer reference. That is why you should concentrate on the CRM and ensure that the customer retention is there in your organization. Next is premium prices. Premium prices are the one where the customer is willing to pay a higher price or to purchase a higher version of the product because he likes the product and he has been associated with your company. Let us take the case of an Apple iPhone. The Apple iPhones are premium iPhones. As and when the next version comes, the existing customers always are ready to purchase the new version and are ready to pay the higher prices, which are the sometimes known as the premium prices, which are a bit higher side. Because the customer are retained and they have the relationship with you, then they are willing to pay the high margin in the prices, even though the price cost is a bit more. So this is one of the other economic benefit of having a good customer retention. So in general, if you have to give a statement, you can say that retained customers are generally more profitable than the newly acquired customers. Next. Now the next question comes is, which customers you should retain. All the customers who are buying your product or your service are not always profitable. Sometimes the cost of maintaining those customers is more than the profits that are being generated from those customers. So it is essential to identify the customers. So who should be the target customers who should retain? Then you should always go for the customers who have high CLV. CLV is the customer lifetime value. In our previous videos, we have discussed thoroughly about the customer lifetime value, the higher the CLV is, the better it is. And next is high volume customers. Let's say in a geographical area, let's say India, let us take the case of a Nokia company. You know, in India, Nokia phones used to sell a lot. So even by keeping the low margin profits in a country like India, the Nokia was able to generate more profits because they had a high volume of the customers. They had majority of the customers here, so they can reduce the profit per customer because they have a high volume of customers. So even in this case, these customers should be retained. Inspirations. Sometimes some of the customers will act as a source of inspiration. Like some customers will give a genuine feedback, or they are very much they are appreciative of the product or your service. So those genuine customers who are giving genuine feedback and who are actually appreciating your product will act as an inspiration for you, for your organization. So you should always try to retain those customers who are actually giving a genuine feedback and are actually providing the needed information for you to move ahead or to grow more products or produce more products. And then the fourth type of customer which is always retain is the door openers. Door openers is the kind of the first customers. You are new to the market, and then the first customers who are actually purchasing your product, even though there is a lack of marketing from your company, then such type of customers are the door openers because they are the first persons who are purchasing your product, and then they will act as a door opener. If they like your product, then in that case they will generate the reference through word of mouth or by creating a buzz. So these type of first customers who are the door openers are also very essential to retain. So you should always try to grab their attention. That is the door opener customers. Next is if you want to give a statement which type of customer you should be, depending on the current value of the customer, the potential for growing that value, and the cost of maintaining and developing the relationship. So these are the other factors which we should always see when trying to retain the customers. Sometimes the current value of the customers might be low, but over the long run, which is a CLV, if it is high, then it's a good point to retain that customer. And the other thing which I said the previous slide, the cost of maintaining the customer relationship. If the cost of maintaining the relationship is high, then the profit generated, then it is good to drop that relationship. So these are some of the important points you should always remember while you are developing your CRM strategy. Then what are some of the strategies that you can use to retain your existing customer or the acquired customers? The first important step is to always exceed the customer expectations. See, customer will have some expectations from your product or service. So if you are able to exceed the customer expectations, then obviously he will be retained. He will also purchase your products in near future because you have exceeded the customer expectations. So we should always try to exceed the customer expectations when providing a product or a service. So how these expectations can be influenced? Expectations, in generally can be influenced in two ways. The first way is the managing expectations, and second is the managing performance. So if there is an exceeding the customer expectation, then that will lead to the delight of the customer. Customer delight is customer is very happy or he is satisfied. So the basic equation which you can remember is customer happiness or the customer delight should always exceed the expectations. So customer delight or the performance of your product or the service should always exceed the expectations of the customer. So here the CV is the customer delight or the perception of the service and the expectation. Expectation, we know what the customer is expecting. Perception of performance is customer will have a certain perception. Okay, if I purchase, let us say Apple product, then it will definitely last for 2 to 3 years. He will have a perception whenever he purchases the product. So you should always exceed or you should match the perception of the performance of the customer, and also you have to exceed the expectations. So this is one of the strategies that you can use to maintain a high customer retention. The other strategy that you can use is adding customer perceived value. Let us say you are purchasing a laptop, you are selling a laptop, and then when the customer purchases the laptop, let us say you are giving a headphone for free, or you are giving a pen drive for free with that. Customer is actually trying to purchase a laptop and is satisfied with only the laptop. But then what you are doing is you are actually giving more value to that. You are providing some headphones and additional pen drive with that. So customer will eventually be happy because you have exceeded the perceived value of the customer. So some of the ways in which the customer perceived value can be added is there are some of the three ways that are generally used. The first one is the loyalty scheme. Let us say, let us take a case of a laptop. The loyalty schemes are the one in which there are some delayed or immediate incremental rewards. Let us say when you purchase the laptop, you will give a coupon of let's say 10% of discount on the next product, or you will see a 50% discount when the customer purchases the next laptop from your organization. So these are some of the schemes. This is a loyalty scheme where you are rewarding the customer based on the next purchase he is doing. So you might have seen these type of schemes that are generally being used by companies. They are actually doing it because they are adding the customer perceived value. They are adding more to the value to the customer that is getting on the purchase done by the customer. Next is customer communities. Like there are some clubs like Club Holidays, Mahindra clubs. There are basically a club is nothing but a group of community of people, and when you're associated with that company or that community, then in that case, what happens? They will give some free holidays, or let's say 1 day free stay with a hotel, something of that sort. So that is also one of the ways in which you are adding to the customer perceived value. And the third is, of course, you are promoting your sales. So some of the important sale promotion techniques are what the sale promotions will do is they will do a temporary enhancement to the customer experience value. Let us say the first one is the impact or on-pack voucher. Let us say you have purchased a product and you have got some scratch card with you, and the scratch card can give you 0 to 100 rupees of benefit to you. So when you scratch this card, then you will get some amount. So these scratch cards are given when you purchase a specific product. So this scratch cards is actually given with this. So it's an impact or on-pack voucher kind of thing. So you're giving a voucher or some scratch card that the customer, if it uses that voucher or the scratch card, it adds to the customer experience. Let us say a Lays is selling the chips of three versions, of three tastes. Let us say Mexican, Indian, and Italian. And what they will do is, if at all a customer is purchasing, is having all the three wrappers of this chips, then what they will do is they will give a 20% discount on the next purchase of any of the chip packet which the Lays company manufactures, or which you are purchasing a Lays company. So what you are doing is you are creating a delight to the customers because once they are having these three packets, then you are giving an additional discount on the fourth packet or the chip packet. So that is this type of awards are the patronage awards. And similarly is a collection scheme. So here you have collected the three types of their chips. Then once you have collected, then you are getting some discount or a rebate on the other purchase of the product. So this is a similar type of a collection scheme where you collect some products or some vouchers which can be used in the next time. So this what will do is they will add it to the customer experience value. So this is one of the another technique which is generally used. Fourth one is the self-liquidating premium. You might have seen, let us say, a case of Big Bazaar. When you purchase anything in Big Bazaar, they will be giving a card, and then they will type in your card, Let us say you are purchasing 100 rupees, then they will give some points to your card. They will add some points, let us say 1%. So whenever you do a purchase of 100 rupees, they are adding a 1 rupee from their side to your card. So over the course of time, what will happen is these points will increase, and these points are directly transferred into rupees. So this way, these small point rewards is actually adding to some value. So this way also the customer experience value enhances, and the customer feels that they are getting more value because they are getting some rewards. Next, another good strategy that is used to retain the customer is developing a bonding with the customer. So how you can do that is by having a positive customer retention strategy. So there are two types of bonding that we can associate, that we can have with the customer. Is first is a social bonding and another is a structural bonding. So structural bonding is like for the end customer, and structural bonding is for the case of an organization or a B2B, whereas social is for a B2C. So in the social bonds, you are having a good positive interrelationship with the customer. Let us say you are running a kirana store. The customer who is coming to your kirana store, you are talking good to him, you are being polite to him. So this way, what will happen is over a course of time, you will develop an interpersonal relationship with the customer. So this will help in having a good bond with the customer, and eventually the customer will come to your shop only. That way, you are retaining the customer. So this is to the use of a social structure. So what this type of bonding does, social bonding then is it links people, and sometimes this is easier to break because there is no legal bonding in this. It is just a social bond. Sometimes if the mood of the customer is not good or you have not served the customer better one time, then he can suddenly stop coming to your office. So social bonding is good. Whereas if you move to the structural bonding, which is applicable to the B2B type, which is a business to business, this time what happens, the relationship or the transactions are somewhat defined. So when companies and customers come into resources to a relationship, so there is a type of commitment that is there in a legal way. In a key feature of a structural bonding, investment in the adaptation to suit the other party. So let us say you are selling cameras which are used in the mobile phones. Then let us say Nokia and Samsung, they want a minor change in the way the cameras are produced. Then what you will do is, since these businesses are your customers, then what you will do is you will adapt it the manufacturing process of your cameras according to the needs of the your customer, which is the Nokia and Samsung. So these type of small adjustments, adaptations is also one of the way that you will retain the businesses with the other business. Like just as an example of the cameras manufacturing process, you can make minor changes so that your customers are retained. Another way of retaining the customer is by having the customer engaged. You engage the customer. You is one of the efficient ways. You'll see how. Normally engagement happens either by cognitive, affective, behavioral, or the social engagement. Cognitive engagement is mostly due to thinking, something kind of a puzzle. Let us say on Amazon mobile app, if you go to the Amazon shopping app, you will see they are giving some puzzle kind of things, small puzzles, which are easily solvable. Then once you are playing those puzzles, then you will be hooked to using their app. The more you use the app, the more likely you will purchase a product on their Amazon app. So this is how, with the use of cognitive engagement, this is done. Another is effective engagement. It is kind of it gives a sense of good feeling to you. Both are somewhat similar. Once you're engaging with that, then definitely it will add to customer retention. And the next is the behavioral engagement. Let us say they are giving you a puzzle. Then what they will do is they are giving you a wheel type of thing. Once you press the wheel, then there are certain rewards depending on where the wheel will stop and the arrow will point. So using the behavioral techniques, also here the Amazon app is actually trying to build the customer engagement, and you're actually spending more time on the Amazon app. And there is a social engagement. Social engagement is a type where, let us say there is a game like Dream 11 or something like that, where two players can play on the app and they are having a social engagement because of that app. So you are socially engaging. So this is another type of engagement or a strategy which will be helpful to retain your existing customer. The more the time the customer is spending on your product or the service, then definitely it will add to customer engagement, which will eventually lead to customer retention. Another step is the gamification. Like I have just said in my previous slide, like adding a small games like puzzles or a wheel. You press on this wheel and the wheel will rotate, and depending on where the arrow point, you'll get some rewards. So it is like giving you that you are playing a game, and the more you play the game, then the rewards will more, and you will have a dopamine hit, and you will feel happy. So gamification is also one of the techniques where use of game-like mechanics in non-game context. Amazon is a non-game context, but they have added some of the game-like mechanics into their app. So this is where they are using your engagement. So this is also another strategy. So these are some of the important customer retention strategies that are used, and we have discussed why the customer retention is important from the economic perspective. They are having economic benefits, so that is why you are going for the customer retention. And you should also identify which customers to retain. That is also key. We have understood that the customer delight should always, or the performance perception of the expectation should always be, should exceed the expectation. So this equation you should remember. So if you have liked the video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more amazing videos. And thank you for watching.